Welcome, everybody. This is Robert Rivera with Who's on First the Show, and I have a special guest here, Erik. He is a umpire assigner, correct, in Texas?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Tell us a little bit about what you do there as a UIC.
Oh, well, I want to say hey from Houston, Texas. My name is Erik. What I do is I schedule umpires for baseball tournaments on the weekends and also league play. So that's what we do here. So it's baseball 24/7 around here in Texas.
I'm in Florida. We get that 24/7 too. It's amazing. It's great when you have that opportunity to play all year round.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So you're in Houston, Texas.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where's the love of baseball come from for you?
It started off when I started playing when I was 4 years old. Played Little League, played high school. I did some junior college, and then I ended up coaching, started umpiring, been a director for tournament director for about 2 years now. Then they gave me the opportunity to be a UIC. So it all started off when I was like 4 years old. So it's pretty much all my life.
So what has baseball taught you in your life that you use in your everyday life?
For me, it teaches a lot of life lessons, especially for in the younger ages. It's like you're a coachable player, so you learn different things in different parts of life, like work-wise,
So you apply the winning and losing and the working as a team and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Of course.
So you OIC, you assign umpires. So how does that work?
Starting every weekend we have a tournament. So starting Monday, I start sending messages to the umpires. We have about 100 umpires on a list, and I ask for availability. Once I get the time schedules from the tournaments, I start assigning umpires to different locations, for field numbers, depending. I also got to look at where they fit good, with the age groups, because we go from 7-year-olds to 14-year-olds. Okay. So not everybody is really good at doing young kids. They rather have the older guys. So I got to maneuver them around. It's all over Houston. Sometimes we have like 22 fields and 7 locations. So it's kind of you're juggling act at sometimes.
All right. So what happens? Let's say you assign Mike and John to field number 1 on the Sunday at 9:00 game, and they don't show. Have you ever had that situation happen?
Oh, you'll be surprised. We get that quite a bit. Good thing I've built a good relationship with these guys. There's a lot of I put 3-man crews at different locations just in case that happens. But right now it does happen here and there because things happen, like emergencies and stuff like that. But me as a UIC, I have to be prepared for that. I also have guys that I've been around for a long time, and I know I get call them at 7:00 in the morning, Sunday morning, and say, hey, I need you. Hey, come help me out. It's a big family, that we, it's a group of guys. We've been together for a long time. And sometimes it comes to a point that sometimes we have a 1-man crew on T-ball, but I'd rather have 1 man there and put 2 on the other fields,
Yeah, it's when you're umpiring like that, especially you're an umpire assigner. I did that for a little while. I had my own association, the Northern Valley Umpires, and it's hard sometimes. And you always get those one guys that come through for you, and you're like, and you know what? I always tell everybody there's always 3 teams on the field. You have the offense, you have the defense, and you have the umpires. And at the end of the day, that's your team. You're the UIC, and the umpires are your team.
No, of course.
They could score 400 runs. It doesn't matter to you. Did your guys get there on time? Did they look good? Did they make good plays? And that's what you look for. So what do you look for in an umpire?
Well, I always look for them to be approachable. Because, I understand I umpire for many years. We're human. We're not always going to make the right call, but it's what we see at the time because you're on top of the plate. But I always look for somebody who's approachable because at the end of the day, these teams are our clients, and we try to sell a good product with a tournament. And I always tell all the umpires and I tell all the coaches, at the end of the day, we're here for the kids.
Right.
We don't benefit from anybody winning. We want everybody to come back. So I'll tell the umpires, just be approachable, be on time, be professional, look the part. Because if you just come in just like dressed like you just got dressed outside in the parking lot, that doesn't look good. You have to. It's still a job. We we have a product that we want to put out, and baseball here in Texas is huge. So we have a lot of competitors. So we want people to always come back to us. So I want to make sure that we have the best umpires. Well, from in my view, and I
Hmm.
mean, getting calls. I mean, the calls are calls. I mean, they're judgment. They're the reason they're called judgment calls. But as
Right.
long as they're approachable and we're able to fix it at the end of the day, like a call, make it. I mean, if it's a rule, we'll make it right. But if it's gonna be about a judgment, I can't say what he's seen, because I'm in the office and he's on the field. So as long as you're on the field and you're approachable, let the coaches come talk to you because they have a right to fight for the team because they're
Right.
fighting for the kids.
Right. Any managers or coaches, there you go. This is Eric's giving you great advice to go out there and have the umpire and talk to him. They'll be approachable. I'm sure
Yeah.
if Eric is signing them, they'll be approachable for you.
Yeah.
All right. So now tell me, I know you made a trip down to Mexico.
Yeah.
And you have something going down in Mexico. Explain that to everybody.
Yeah. Well, my parents are from a town in Coahuila, south of Eagle Pass, Texas, and they made a foundation. It started off with the pandemic, and it's called it's after my grandma, Ernestina Guzman Foundation of Aporti Cloete. Cloete is the name of the town in Coahuila. So it started with the pandemic about giving bags with food and stuff like that. But I ended up going one time, and since I'm around baseball all the time, I see a baseball game, I'm gonna stop, regardless of the age. I seen a kid who was using a piece of cardboard as a glove just to play catch. They also have to, when they're on base, they had to give up their helmet to give it to the batter. So that's unsafe there. And I don't let it fit well with me. And I mean, if I could help, I mean, I would do anything I can. So I asked the people that I work for, the organization I work for, which is Texas Baseball Tournaments, and they put it on one of the tournaments that we were going to be collecting used equipment. So we ended up taking, I want to say about 50 helmets, 20 gloves, I think like 40 baseball bats, which we had the baseball community here is a big family here in Texas, and everybody helped out, and we took a lot over there. So, and we donated everything to the local Little League. We're more involved with the Little Leagues there, so we're gonna keep on going. I'm going back in December, the third weekend of December. I'm going back, and I got some more stuff that I want to donate with the kids. The foundation, we're gonna sponsor some the uniforms. So, because I mean, they just wear anything they have. Anything we could do, we try to help. Because I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of talent everywhere, and a lot of it is lost because of
Okay.
financial means.
So I see you speaking about it. It really struck a chord in your heart. Did you see them like being without? Have you remember being without at a point?
Yeah, and I think that's why it kind of struck me because I mean I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. There's a big family. My dad was the only one that worked. There was things that I wanted and I knew I couldn't have because my dad was the only one working. When it came for baseball or something like that, it would be like for school or something like that. He made sure we had it. I mean, not me not knowing how much it was going to cost and stuff like that. So these kids have the ones in Mexico, even here. I mean, I help. I volunteer coaching also here. There's talent that's going to be lost. It's never going to be shown because I mean, all they needed was a glove or a baseball bat. I mean, like I said, baseball it keeps you off the streets. I mean, those kids could do anything especially when they don't have things to work with to practice and stuff like that. They could easily just end up in the streets, end up in jail, doing drugs and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
I'm thankfully that my dad was able to provide for us. So, and I think that's what kind of hit because there's something I could do about that. It's just a big family here in Texas. It's real close. The baseball community is real close.
That's nice. That goes with one of my favorite sayings by Roberto Clemente. His thing was when he died, he was going to give food to the earthquake victims in Venezuela, and one of his sayings was, "Anytime you have an opportunity to change something in this world and you don't, you're wasting your time on Earth." And
Exactly.
obviously, you are here, not wasting your time. You're putting out there some good stuff for these kids. And I'm sure they appreciate it. And I'm sure a lot of them are probably like, wow, this is some great stuff. We've never had baseball equipment like this.
It was a good turnout. I mean, there was, I want to say there was about 50 kids there. You know, their parents were there. And I mean, I got interviewed by the local news reporters there. And it's something that I didn't want to get recognition for. Because it's not why I did it. It's not what we do, not what we do these for.
Right.
But you know, they wanted to talk about it, and I did. I mean, I'm willing to talk to anybody about it. But at the end of the day, I do it because I want to, and I love the game of baseball, and I don't want the game to be lost because they needed some bases, or they needed this, they needed that.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine, and he had umpired somewhere in the Caribbean. I'm not sure if it was the Bahamas or something like that, but he went to a small town, and it was a poor town, and he had 4 dozen baseballs that he had brought with him. And he went and umpired the game. The parents at the end of the game, they said, "Hey, we want to talk to you." And he's like, "What?" And they said, "How do you get the baseball so clean at the end?" I mean, you know, and he's sitting there looking, he goes, "No, I don't clean them. These are new baseballs." And they're like, "What do you mean they're new baseballs? How do you clean them?" Like they didn't understand what a new baseball was. They always started these games with, you know, whatever. And, you know, he looked around and he saw the kids, they had mishmash, you know, shirts, pants. Some of them were playing with soccer cleats, if they had cleats at all, you know, Converse and stuff like that. So it struck a chord to him, and then he told me the story, and I was like, wow, you know, to think that we're here in the United States and we're so fortunate to have what we have and the programs that we have, you know, it's amazing. So let me ask you a question. What's one of your favorite baseball moments?
One of my baseball moments, and actually, I mean, they're all good memories, you know, from playing the game. But one thing, because as a tournament director, at the end of the tournament, we give rings to the champions, you know, to the winning team. And I want to say about 3 months ago, I was at a local grocery store. I was actually going, I think it was the 4th of July weekend. I was going to my sister's house, and there was the kid was like 8 years old, and he just kept on looking at me, and the lady was like, tell him, ask him. And so I looked at him, I was like, "Hey, what's up? You know, what's up?" You know, give him a little fist bump. And the mom asked him, tells him, "Hey, well, ask him, what would you want to ask me?" And he asked me, are you the director who gave me the ring from the championship?" So that kind of I kind of felt good, because I think he'll remember that for the rest of his life, you know. So I was like surprised that he recognized me out of wearing the hats and stuff like that. So I think for me that really it felt really good. So I think that's on the top of my list right now. That he didn't have to tell me anything, but he remembered that was who I was. I think that's one of the best memories that I have.
Yeah, one of mine was I had a kid. I was umpiring in the Toby Henna Little League, and one of the directors, the board members, his grandson was pitching, and he threw a 3-pitch inning, 3 pitches, 3 outs.
Wow.
Yeah. And I turned around, and I never had that. Never had that. You've probably never seen it. Some people have never even seen it. So at the end of that inning, I walked up to him and I grabbed that baseball and I said, "Hey, this connects you and me forever, this baseball. Exactly. You understand it?" I said, "Hold on to it. You know, I'm going to sign it for you, and we're going to put the date on it, and you sign it." And Matthew Denning, and I said, we're connected forever with this 3 up, 3 down. I said, three thrown, 3 done, you know. And he always had, and every once in a while, he's like, "Hey, 3-3, remember?" Yeah, he was 3-3. You know, so that was one of my favorite moments. You get connected to these kids, and now I'm connected to a 12-year-old who's now 20-something-year-old.
Like, you know, this kid is, like 8 years old. So it's just something for him to remember that out of, you know, it was, at a grocery store, you know, anybody can look like another person, but he just wanted to ask me if I was the one who gave him the ring, you know, because I was a director on site that weekend. But it just, that kind of hit me, and I was like, I don't know, I was talking about it for like a week straight to everybody, because it just felt good inside, you know, to be recognized by someone who I don't even know, you know.
Right. That I'm sure that's something that, I get recognized sometimes. I got recognized by kids that I coached when I was 15 and they're 20, 24 years old, and all of a sudden they give me a hug in Walmart and I'm like, whoa, what you doing, big guy? And all of a sudden it's like, hey, it's me, coach. And I'm like, whoa, I was like, you big. I was like, holy smoke. And it's that's always good. You sit there and they go, oh, I want you to meet my girlfriend or my wife. And then, here's my baby. And I'm like, you got a baby? I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know.
You start to feel old after a while, but that's good stuff. All right. So, I mean, now that, you're an older guy and I'm an older guy, I'm starting to see a lot of these kids have a lot of stuff. As a tournament director, you see a lot of these teams coming in with like all these funky bags and cleats. And I mean, let me tell you something. I'll be honest with you. If I had a bat, a glove, and let me see if I had I had a bat, a glove, and one batting glove.
Batting glove.
Okay. I had a batting glove and it was my catching glove. And that's because I used to use it as a catcher. And that was, forget it, I was the man. Aren't you amazed by some of the equipment and all the stuff that's coming out for them?
Here at the facility, we have, the kids, they just sometimes they leave it here. We put it in lost and found, they pick it up. The parents come looking and we're like, yeah, we have it here. But these bags are like 3 bats. Then you have a wooden bat. Then you have your own helmet. You have, I don't like the sliding, like the sock, or you have the gloves or the glasses. It's just like, man, sometimes you see like $3,000 worth of stuff in there. And I was just like, like you said, I had my glove, I had my batting glove. Sometimes they come in 2, so I was able to get 2, the left and the right, but most of the time it was just for my for my catching.
Yeah, hey, for those who don't know, back in the day, they used to sell 1 batting glove. You would get 1. That's it. And if you were fancy and lucky enough and catch it on sale in Modell's back in New York where I live, you would get a left and a right. And sometimes it wasn't the same one. Like this one would be a Rawling, and then this one would be like, I don't know, Demarini or whatever. It'd be something else, a New Era or something like that. But it'd be 2 different. But as long as the color matched your kind of uniform, you was the man.
You were good.
You were good. You were good.
Since I had other siblings, that their bats, they used to give me their bats. So the next season, I'll be rolling up with the bat, and I'm like, like you said, I'm the hot stuff out there, But it was just like, I knew where, it was hard. So, but I mean, I always liked playing, because at the end of the day, when I'm here at the facility at the tournaments, anything that goes around, I forget about everything, because I'm around baseball, and that's what makes me happy.
Right.
Other than my kids, of course, but this is my happy zone. And there is some stressful parts of the job, but at the end of the day, like on Sunday when we're done, we're like, we got another one. We got another one in the books. But Monday morning, we're back and doing it again. And this is a lot of things behind the scenes, But yeah, it's just like the baseball has changed a lot. We've seen that with even equipment wise, talent. There's a lot of good talent out here that we see, A
lot of talent being developed.
Oh, yeah.
I'm starting to see, and I was just at a baseball academy, and it's just like I'm sitting there and I'm looking at a 7-year-old, 8-year-old hitting bullets. Line drive bullets. And I'm like, what? I covered the Cal Ripken 8U World Series over here. And I tell you, to see 8-year-olds pulling off double plays, to see 8-year-olds hitting shots into the outfield, see 8-year-olds throwing kids out from the outfield, gunning them down at home plate. Yeah. And I'm like, not only does that kid got to catch it, but now he's got to hop, do the crow hop and throw it. Right. And then that catcher has to catch it and put the tag down. Right. And then you sitting there and that kid's sliding. And I'm sitting there going, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 variables in this one play. And it happened. It developed right in front of you. And you're like, these guys 8 years old? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, are you sure? I was like, because, whoa, man, I tell you, I think they could give some college teams a run for their money. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's amazing. It's amazing.
A couple of years ago, when I got into the tournaments, I started seeing like these 9-year-olds diving for the balls. Like you say, double plays. The way their mechanics hitting, their mechanics pitching. I'm like, the velocity is not there yet, but I mean their mechanics. I'm like, wow, these kids, the development is really good. And that's
Yeah.
why, like, I mean, all these organizations that are coming out now is a lot of them are here for the right reasons, and that's what they need to be doing.
Yeah. Have you guys had anybody that has gone to, say, let's say the AAA minor leagues or anything like that came out of through the organizations that you're in?
Every once in a while, we do see kids. I mean, even kids that I used to coach and my boss's kids. I mean, I know they got drafted. I know some of these coaches from organizations, their kids are, some in the big leagues, some in the minors and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's always
Okay.
good because a lot of them come back, and so, when the kids see them here in the facilities, here in the tournaments, they always tell the kids that could be you one day. You just got to do things right.
Yeah, man. And that's always one of the deals. I had interviewed a scout and he said, you he goes, first of all, you have to be an athlete.
Yeah.
You have to have some kind of athleticism. He's like, and you got to be humble, you got to be approachable, and you got to be teachable. And he goes, and if you follow what we tell you to do, you will make it, But the moment you think that you're better than everybody else, it's pretty much you're pretty much toast after that,
They look at all that.
Yeah, they look at all that. They look at all that. That's amazing. All right. So I mean, this UIC job, I know you're not making millions, doing this job here. It's a labor of love for you. What makes you want to do this job, be a UIC and go through all these headaches with umpires missing and teams and maybe an argument or a fight?
I mean, yeah, and I get that a lot because I've been I was, like I said, I used to do something else. I did it for 23 years, but I've been around the baseball so long. I've coached, I've umpired, directing. I mean, I volunteer. I'm a board member at a local little league here. And I just always, when they offered this opportunity, I mean, I love what I did for a living, but I felt at the end of the day, this is where I belong. Yes, there's stressful days sometimes. I like saying somebody don't show up, but I try to prepare myself for that. Sometimes I still go out there and umpire, and when I got to do it, I don't mind doing it. I love doing it. Right. But at the end of the day, I feel like this is where I need to be. And like me and my boss were talking the other day, and I'm like, we actually get paid for this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of things that go around behind the scenes to get the tournament ready, but it was like once at the end of the day, from that coach or those parents that say, hey, I did a good tournament this weekend. That's one of the payments that I get. We're doing something good here. And it's just something that I love to be. I mean, I get paid to watch baseball games on the weekends. I mean, what more do I want,
That sounds terrible to me. Sounds terrible.
There's a lot of traveling also all around the Houston area, but it's part of the job, and it's something that I could just stay here in my office and just not care, but I just care about my job so much that I want those guys to know that I'm going to be there for them, and they could be. I want them to be here for me also.
Right. Well, you know what, Eric, I'm a little bit jealous because you're living my dream. I got to tell you that. I got to tell you
41 years.
Well, listen. My dream was always to hit the lottery big and get a big baseball facility, right? And I wanted to train the umpires in the winter, and then and train the kids during the summer, and then in the fall and in the spring, stick them together and just shove them together and go, okay, let's watch some baseball now, and you see the kids stealing, and you see the kids running the bases properly. You see the good techniques, the good swings, but then you also see that umpire hustling down the third, breaking up the line, going out there on that outfield fly, and making those proper calls. They're out by 10 feet, hey, it's out. And if they're out by 2 inches, then they give them that good old whacker, and by here you go. Yeah. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you and donate some equipment, how would they get in touch with you?
Erik Almanza. I'm on Facebook also. My email is Almanza_80, ALMANZA _80 @yahoo.com.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. As I always say, remember, everybody keep on swinging, because every swing is going to get you closer to that next home run.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
If you like the show, please do me a favor. Subscribe. Right. You see it? It's right there. Subscribe, share, like, and don't forget, put that bell on. It'll ding you when I put something else on, all right?
Now, hold on. Don't run away on me, Eric. And now we're going to do the Spanish one.
Okay.
So we're gonna do the Spanish side. I don't know if we're gonna get exactly what we got on the other show because I got a little spontaneous. And you know, it's funny. My son was the one that taught me. He said, "Stop reading that stupid script. Just be spontaneous."
Yeah,
I sit there and I go,
do it. Yeah.
"Where does your love of?" He's like, "Just do it, Dad. You know how to do it."